Even though you're introverted, many people want to be that go-to guy or woman, that person that everyone looks up to, that person who knows everything, and that person who knows all the answers to every question that ever comes up. If that's you, then listen to this video, because I'm going to give you some things that I use in my time, in my career, in order to help me become a more valuable member of my team. The first one is think of the business long term. It's 5 ways of doing this portion. That first one is to develop a clear vision. What does that mean? Now, for the business, meaning that the more money you can make a business, the more money that you can earn yourself. Because if you can help a business make maybe 20K, 30K more a year, then that'll be more money for you to kind of gain a more competitive edge to get your promotions. If you help a company save about probably the same amount, 20 to 30K a year, that gives you a more competitive edge of what you want from that company, which is why you need to develop that clear vision of where you want the company to go and where you see yourself within that company. Because if you're just there without purpose, without meaning, that's good and all, but it won't really fuel you for anything greater if you do get the opportunity. That second one is to build those systems. What do I mean by that? Meaning build stuff that you believe can help you make the process easier. Whether that means you, because think of a process, you going over a sales script every single day and then going over the sales call, prepping yourself up. It's this quote that goes, people would think you're more intelligent by doing just 10 minutes of prep work. What does that mean? If you're in sales, then that would just mean you taking maybe 10 to 20 minutes, prepare yourself to get to know your client, who you're going to be on the phone call with. See and keep finding them on Facebook, who their favorite football team is, their parents, or maybe just their wife, and just use it as like a conversation topic. Or you can get more about business if you need to, by figuring out more about that business before you hop on the call, so that when you get on the call, you don't seem less intelligent, you don't seem less dumb. Another way you can apply this is if you're in the system and you already have your rules set up for how you do your job on the computer. For example, if you send emails out all day, you can set up a rule or something of where to send emails out based on your priorities and how you want it to go through. Or if you work on systems, you can set some type of process up, like an automation process, in order to help make tasks, small, menial tasks, more faster and complete more efficiently. The next one is to develop people and relationships, meaning that you need to surround yourself with people and a relationship that you believe that will help you grow and be better and just become a more developed individual. Think about it like this, or this is how I like to think about it. Find the best person who's at your job and double what they do. Meaning that if they, not work hours, but their workflows, meaning that if they can process up to 120 boxes a day for whatever job you're doing, see, can you process twice the amount of that? What can you do to maybe work harder, work faster? What can you do to double that process, or work or grind a lot more harder? You may need to stay longer, you may need to work harder, but that's the price you need to pay in order to grow in the beginning. In the beginning, there's no shortcuts. There's no way to win except to go through hard work. So if you need to make those extra 200 calls, if you need to scan those extra 200 boxes for the experience, for the reps, in order to be better than a high performer, then do it. Because there's no other replacement than that. That next one is to stay adaptable and forward looking. Meaning to embrace that change. If things change, embrace it. Go full force with it. Don't just think about how the past is. Yes, you can take stuff off of the past and just put it into the pot of the future to make it better, and so things don't change too much in order to make it some, or have it maintain some type of familiarity. But don't be too stuck in the past that you won't take over the future. Essentially, that's how some companies are going towards AI. Now, they keep some of their core processes, but in the whole scheme of things, they're adopting more AI tools in order to help them work more efficiently. That's what I recommend for you. That next one is thinking of the self versus thinking of the team. What do I mean by that? Thinking of the team deals with you focusing on your own personal goals, your growth, and your own recognition. You seek those individual achievements and rewards. Thinking of yourself can lead to isolated decision making. Now, when you think of the team, you prioritize shared objectives, collaboration, and collective success. You build trust, foster relationships, and elevate everyone's potential. You encourage diverse perspectives and stronger solutions. Now, an example of this is if you're working at your job and you're done. A simple question people may be asking at their job. Some may be coming with a entitlement mindset, as in, I wonder if I'll like them. But in a way, in order for you to become a more charismatic and a more valuable employee to your team, think of it as, how can I help them? How can you make your other coworkers' job easier? What can you do to help them go home earlier? Because people notice. Maybe it may not be noticeable at first, but goodwill compounds. Maybe it could be your boss asking your coworker who you think the best person is for the job. And your name kind of comes up because you're the go-to man. You're the person who helps everyone goes home. Maybe the regimental manager, whatever, regional manager, come to your boss and ask him who's your star employee, who's the one who helps everyone else around instead of worrying about himself or herself. They'll say your name. Goodwill compounds. The more you focus less on yourself and more on others, the easier your life will be in the end. And the more it will compound. Now, I'm not saying this will be for everyone. Every situation has its own contradictions, its own constraints. But if you try to do this, I'm sure that you'll be repaid for it. This next one is build those relationships. Start with your coworkers first, meaning that get to actually know them, but don't force the relationship. Don't be the one who's constantly talking when they tell you to shut up. You need to learn social cues if that's you. But try to get to know them, find out their hobbies, what their favorite food is, their favorite movies and games and stuff, and just try to be a good dude overall. Now, people get this confused with manipulation, but it's not. The difference between manipulation and leadership, or actually getting to know them, is just your intention of it. Just have good intentions always, because intention has a smell. Now, get to know your boss as well, meaning that don't be a fucking goody two-shooter. Don't be the person who always in your boss's butt, like for lack of a better word. Always trying to figure out what he's doing next or how can you help him out. Don't be that guy. But when the opportunity comes up, get to know him, talk to him, find out their favorite hobbies, see what can you do in order to make it better. And in order to build that trust, let me give you an example. Imagine that you're working on a project on product development, and your boss constantly asks you questions and not allowing you to work. Every single step you take asks you, how can this be better? What can you do to make this better? What has he been doing? What has he been doing? What have you been doing? Now, people could see that as a intrusion on their job, but others could see it as a lack of trust because you haven't really earned your boss's trust yet. And the best way to do is to do that, turn this trust, is to give them more information they need it. Provide him every information in every part of the step. If you have that type of boss who does that type of boss who kinds of micromanage you, this is my best way to go about doing that part. This next one is to focus on quality work and execute consistently, meaning that the small details matter in your job, so care about them. Now, that means that if you're given a task or anything that you need to accomplish, then try to do so in the best of your ability. A secret cheat code that I learned, for me, I was a senior drum shipper in the Marine Corps for recruit training at one point. And for me, my job got kind of overloaded because of the amount of admin paperwork I did. So I developed this concept called the focus inputs, meaning that out of everything going on, meaning for you, if you have to email Sam, email Bill, message your boss, get this project done, which what can I do, to focus on that one project, one task at a time, and what inputs can I do to make it easier? Meaning, for focus, what does that mean? Meaning focus on one thing. You have one single focus on one thing. And how do you do that? The only way to focus, the best way, is to eliminate distractions. Meaning to put your phone on do not disturb. Maybe put your blinds on, close your blinds, close your door, and just focus on that one job. Everything else, just eliminate it. Now, inputs mean that the things you can do in order to make that job go easier. Now, also, this changes your mindset from focusing on the outcome of a project to focusing on the actual process of it. So by focusing on the process of what you can do to make it go easier, you eliminate the anxiety, I want to say, from how a project is going to be towards the end or how long you have to finish, and you push that towards the present, which means you try to get it done sooner, which is now, by focusing on the process to get it done now. Now, I want to end this by saying that doing these things may not mean that you're going to be the first person to get promoted. It may not mean that you'll be seen in a favorable eye in your fellow coworker eyes, but you will be better. And 9 times out of 10, you will be seen more favorable and ready for that next promotion up if the opportunity comes. But that's all I got. Thank you for listening. Stay motivated.